Peters is looking for some footage that he got of him and Ryan, the new guy. He like made Ryan do a headstand for entirely too long, apparently. But if you have that footage, I think we'd be interested in seeing it. Anyway, we have the rest of the roles. Unfortunately, not that one to go over today. So let's do it. Now, I didn't know what happened with you and Luke in this first round. So
yeah, I'll go the play-by-play. But yeah, so me and Luke, this is fresh out the gate. We don't normally get to train with each other dry.
Yeah.
So he's going around. He really likes to throw in the Estima lock in order to start getting a reaction to go for the guard pass. I elevate my hips, make sure that I'm kind of like on my back, but on a hip, so that I can elevate my hips pretty quickly when he does it. I know it's coming on. Here I'm being very lazy with trying to test out some retention that I have. I've been working on, right? Like the high legging and everything, and going immediately into some like somewhat offensive grips, but immediately Luke is on with the passing. So this is what we're talking about with inside position, maintaining inside position. My knee is I say it's closer to me than it is to his hips. So I'm trying to make sure that my right knee is acting as a little wedge or a knee shield in front of us. And then as he starts to backstep, I'm able to use that to maintain distance and then come back up into a full butterfly guard. We're going through some gripping exchanges here, both looking for offensive grips. Luke really is trying to capture my legs. You can see him reaching to try and capture my right leg. I'm trying to stave him off by giving him grips to worry about, and he's just immediately in on a pass right now.
Looks like he's trying to set up more of a body lock. Well, he doesn't have the body lock now. He's kind of low, but it looks like he's trying to crimp your leg, real tight.
Exactly. And so I'm trying to figure out like how I can keep my knee wedged out. Like my knee needed to be pointing out towards his shoulder the entire time, but he's just has his way about getting past that knee shield. So I'm kind of in this side guard type position. He goes in for the pass here. He winds up getting it. It's more than 3 seconds. But I'm trying to create room so that I can do that. So as soon as he starts to try and advance his position, I'm in the at the point where I can start regarding and getting back into an offensive posture.
Before we get too far ahead, I want to just look at a few other things. So that was at 2 minutes. We'll come back to. Just want to see. So Gavin and I having a roll, and then Josh and Hobby over here. So Josh actually had like double underhooks on the Hobby, and the Hobby was going real slack and like not fighting it too hard, which was an interesting approach. Josh didn't really know how to deal with that, it looks like. And then we see Nahabi, I think, hit an arm drag. He gets his double unders. Gets behind him. Has trouble picking Josh up.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I don't know that like Josh had more of a dominant head position in that second exchange there with Nahabi having the double unders. His head is, he's using his head to push under.
He gives it up right there,
but then gives it up right here, and I think that's exactly where Nahabi changes his level a little bit and gets around to the back.
Also, big credit to Gavin. He asked for the first round with me and told me to bring it. Asked me to step it up just in preparation for his comp. obviously, he was like, don't injure me, but give me a hard round.
Yep.
So, yeah, he brought it too.
Good.
I think we have a few other good exchanges. And then, let's see, Nahabi's on the back, switches up to mount. And then Steven and Austin join the fray. We got Jordan and Kevin as well. Just want to go ahead a little bit here. Nahabi retains the back.
What was that?
Nahabi's really good at chasing the back. Josh is having real trouble getting away. And he switches
on an
to
armbar. Yep.
Good composure from Josh. Not trying to pull the arm out, but rather to force more of himself inward, get to a better, safer close guard position.
Yeah, Nahabi wasn't able to throw in that cross-face leg, which is, whether it was Josh tucking his head or just, I don't know what, but Nahabi wasn't able to really put any pressure on the head, so that kept Josh's arm safe.
We got Kevin here working what we went over in class. So he was playing with the omoplata, switching back to the triangle armbar dilemma. And yeah, I think you and Luke are back at it.
Yeah, so we're still in this battle. He will not give me any sort of, this is where everything started breaking down for me. So he takes my heavy. This is what Luke does ridiculously well, is he takes the pressure that I put on him with the knee shield and he uses it to his advantage. I'm using the knee shield to try and stave him off, and then he basically uses his body to roll against, or like roll off to the side and collapse my knee shield. And he's the only person in the gym that can do this effectively. Immediately comes around to take my back. I think I stave off a full back take for a little bit. Yep, so he starts throwing in this, but then goes to a high ball ride. This is his, one of his favorite positions. I feel fine here. Like I don't feel like he has a threatening strangle at the moment. and so I'm working on breaking his arms free so that I can start worrying about the legs. The high ball ride is extremely tough to get out of, but then immediately, so he starts giving me a little bit to worry about on the upper body, and then sneaks in his hook. So now he gets his 4 points. So now he's completely cranking across my face. And as quick as it started, it stopped. I
only saw this clip, and I'm like, did Mike tap Luke? What happened here?
No. No, not at all. I gave him the Gordon tap. I was like, hey, you realize that the round is over, right? So I'm gonna tap.
I got what you
So
yeah.
So it turns red, and then I tap. So I was like, see, I won.
Nice. Let's see, one last little thing. So Kevin's working a lot with the move we did that night, which is good. I mean it's kind of obvious once Kevin gets a little bit more experienced with the triangle, it's going to be a real problem for everyone.
Yeah.
So just some of the things I'm seeing here as we kind of like zip through the footage. It's all about the angle here, man. So you can tell like Jordan's doing a good job of like posturing up, making it difficult to actually get the finish. Your legs are long enough to where that's not really breaking the grip for you. Like that he would have popped right out of my triangle if he did that. But now from here, you always want to go to the side where you're where the arm, the non-trapped arm is sticking out. Nice. Like so in this case, you don't want to go to the trapped arm, right? You want to dig under with your right arm here under Jordan's left leg. That's going to get you to a better, tighter angle to finish those triangles. And like we'll work. I'll work more on that with you. You know, just to like try to make that a bit more automatic. But I think once you get used to that, your triangles are going to be a real problem for us.
Luke putting the triangle to work.
Yeah, and now Luke is even like he's on the not good side for the angle. He's doing a front triangle. This isn't a wrong way triangle, but his head is just like on the far side, and I'm sure he knows that he has to like get over. But Josh's elbow is so deep on this that it'll be really difficult to cut the angle against that hip control. So Luke's popping his hips up to try to pop that arm out. And then he does something I really love to do when people deeply hide their arm, is you just use your hips to get them into a mounted triangle position.
They have no base, right? Yeah. Like they either have to give up to provide a base, which extracts their arm, which gives you access to the arm, and then you can start bringing it over to attack the triangle, or they concede the sweep, right? Yep. It's a good dilemma to put somebody in.
Yeah, definitely a favorite of mine. And then, you know, from here, you can really like, it's not like you want to like rest, but you can give your legs a bit of a rest since your weight is holding them in the triangle as opposed to your leg muscles. But now Luke has a bit more access to that arm. As you can see, he starts immediately digging on the wrist. Let's see, Joe got him in a leg entanglement with Nahabi here.
He's in 50-50.
Yep.
And Nahabi has a strong heel hooking position on Joe. He almost locked up the grip.
Yeah.
No, Nahabi does not do leg locks, or hadn't prior to our school.
I hope his he's not wearing his knee brace either, which always makes me nervous because now I forget which leg is what's his surgery leg. But yeah, he's in a good position to counter Joe. Joe, if you want to stay safe here, like with 50-50, at least how I handle it is I am constantly on the attack for that heel hook until I can't be, until I get my own heel exposed, and then it's switch on to full defense. I'm either all the way going offensive, or if I'm in a real bind, then I ditch. I go purely defensive, and I grip fight until I can extract my knee, and then I'll either try to switch the leg entanglement to like cross ashi or something else. But yeah, right here, Joe, I don't know if you notice it, but like your knee is definitely in some trouble. Like your heel is off the mat. Nahabi can just flick his wrist right underneath there, and you'd be in a bad way.
Yeah, for me, and I don't know if this is the way that I handle 50-50. I personally try to stay away from 50-50 as much as possible. The reason is because it really does not do, for at least I have a low success rate trying to stand out of 50-50.
Yeah. It's easy to put you down.
It is a lot easier for the person on bottom to put, once they have it fully locked in, it's very easy for them to put you down. And generally they put you down to the hip to where your heel is already exposed. Yeah. So it gives them a really good opportunity to start attacking the heel. So generally I stay seated when dealing with 50-50. And yeah, the more you're hipping up like this, the more exposure to your heel you're giving Nahabi. Right there, your heel is fully exposed. If Nahabi slip back, he has an inverted heel hook or an inside heel hook.
Steven and Jason's first roll of the night. Unfortunately, we didn't get their last roll. Or no, that's Jordan. My bad.
Oh no, you're with Kevin.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm with
okay.
Kevin.
Yep. Brooks got a trap triangle on Veronica. Good luck with that, Brooke.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I've triangled Veronica.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
And then Joe, as far as working in this like turtled up position with Nahabi, right here you're pretty fine. Like he doesn't have any real connection with you, no hooks in, nothing like that. I would look to start turning towards him if that were the case and actually getting your guard back, especially if he's creating space like this. No reason you can't like kind of Granby roll out of this. You know, do a forward roll just to turn back. Nothing dramatic, just to like turn back so that you're facing him. And then like right here, all you're doing is pulling his hooks into place and leaving your neck exposed. So bad. I wouldn't do that. If you're looking to, unless you're looking to work on your back defense, it just gives him pretty clean opportunity to get there.
Yeah, risky maneuver for sure.
See that push kick from Luke?
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
That's what we deal with.
See Ronnie standing here, working her standing guard break. I don't know why she's attacking the arm.
Yep, there she goes. Get the
All
posture
the way
though.
standing. Posture up.
She's trying to put pressure. Yep. So she does a good job there. Like it's not. I don't think it's definitely not either of our preferred methods. But this isn't an old school tactic that can start to work. The way that Veronica is driving her left knee and just the top part of her leg in towards Brooks' knee, it puts a lot of pressure on the guard, and it can definitely cause it to start breaking open. That's what we wind up seeing here. It's normally done by the blading of the hips, and then the collapsing of that knee inward.
I know Bertram loves to do that one.
Yep. It was, it was a very well taught, or like it was taught a lot in the old school type gyms. We've always, I know you and I have gravitated towards the standing guard break. It kind of gets the job done faster, and it's harder for people to deal with.
Yeah.
Armbar set up on Kevin.
Yeah. I think I did finish this one.
Looks like you definitely should. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just, again, kind of taking him through some of the moves we did at class that day. The armbar finish was... So I didn't set it up from close guard like we did. But I think... I may have been thinking about switching to the triangle just to kind of like do what we did, but the way he went down, it was just like, all right, I'll just finish this.
You kind of had your leg trapped a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Let's look at Luke real quick. So Luke playing from this like top half guard, pinning the leg. So pinning Josh's far leg. That's going to make it very difficult for Josh to track him as he goes around to this side. Now he's got to get Luke has to get his left knee up the body into the hip in order to secure this pin. So you can see him prioritizing that. And then now probably looking to step to mount, I think, yeah.
So what Luke did there was he actually prioritized, instead of leg movement, he prioritized his hip position. Um, so the way that I generally do the passing, right, is that I try and block the knee or keep the knee away from the elbow, and then walk my knees up, and then carry the legs back, right? So basically, if I could stop Josh where he is right now, would continue to walk up the body, back down the body, and then secure the pin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Luke uses his left hip to pin Josh's left hip there. So he hops straight over, and then he can reestablish with his knee placement. It's not something that I generally that's not something that I do, but it's something that Luke is very good at.
Yeah, and he kind of splits the side guard here too. So like Josh's elbow needs to be in contact with the knee, and I think that little hop over, splitting it with the hips, and then it looks like even his Luke's right hand probably takes a grip maybe on the bicep or the forearm,
like a Kazura Kesa,
maybe not,
Gatame type of thing.
Yeah, I guess not. But he uses his hips to split that side guard open.
And all the while he's doing that, he's maintaining like it's a constant shoulder pressure on the belly to keep the hips pinned down. So it's a combination of good pins.
Haley and I have another barn burner. So this is rad. I mean, immediately going into the leg locks, switching up, and then she throws on her Kimura her guillotine that we saw from a few weeks ago.
Signature.
I could feel her getting to the high elbow position.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to hold on. I'm not gonna give her any charity on this. And what I was waiting for, and I tell her this after, was I want to see that side crunch. That's what she does. Yeah. I think she finally she was about to, she like kind of opened it up, and I'm like, no, crunch down.
Yep.
And as soon as she did, it was
tight.
I had to tap. It was totally good.
Yep.
Brandon and Kevin rolling.
Caleb and Veronica. Cooper and Austin. Get those two mixed up. They look identical.
Cooper and Austin?
Yeah.
Other than that shaggy hair that Cooper's rocking.
Probably makes Austin jealous.
Totally. I don't know. I've seen pictures of long hair Austin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, when he was in high school. I think Cooper's hair is still better. Long hair Cooper is better than long hair Austin.
Good mat awareness.
Yes. Watch what I do with Haley here. Where is it? Like, we're right here. I see Josh and Jason to my left, and I'm just like, yep, we're going this way.
Yeah, you can tell Pinball we've got a lot of watching around to do while we're training.
Yeah.
We're getting more and more training partners, which is awesome, but it also makes it a challenge.
Yeah, and some of the bigger guys definitely are quick and explosive, and you can't stop the train when it's about to smash you. So I try to stay away from them. That's right. All right, so Kevin putting the triangle to work against his pops here. Yep. Love to see it.
So you're in on X guard?
I can never hold a position too long with Haley. She's pretty
she scrambles. Yeah.
She scrambles a lot, so as soon as you set him an X guard, I looked, that wasn't an X guard anymore. It's like
right.
In and out. What do Coop and Austin do here? I think Coop is also competing on June 3rd, so he was definitely looking to step his game up today. Just get ready. So here
He's
we
in
go.
the guillotine.
Yeah,
Oh, got it.
Looked like
Nice.
a little power grip at the end there.
Nice snap down. Working around to the back. Yeah, I'd love to see Cooper prioritizing that back take a little bit, or taking his time more so on that back take.
Yeah.
I think he definitely could do something there.
Yeah, my biggest notes to him, we get a roll in later. My biggest notes to him are still, because he wasn't doing this well, and I really want him to like embody this, but let the strangle work, right? He would throw on a guillotine or like a rear naked, and he would attempt to strangle me, and then he'd adjust and then tighten it up and adjust and tighten it up, and like you can't do that. So that, and then not accepting grips like collar ties, not just letting people pull you around, break your posture down. Too much of that was going on, so I think he's getting better about that. And I just want to make it a sure thing before the competition. So here I was finally getting to put Haley's mount escaping to work. I've been wanting to like kind of just test her, see where she's at with that. And she had the makings of a decent elbow escape, so we just started going over some of the finer points of that. But she's familiar with it. I think she just like needs to rep it out and get the practice in. Haley, if you're in the chat, how many stripes do you have on your belt? Out of curiosity, I meant to ask you. I don't know if she's watching.
I don't know if she is tonight. Don't think so.
Let's see. Did Kevin end up finishing that triangle? I don't think so. Got sidetracked there. Yeah, looks like Brandon was taking him through it. Okay, anyway, sorry. There we go. And then the other for Gavin and Braden and Cooper, because they love to play around with leg locks on us. In fact, in my role with Braden, he started to attack something like an outside heel hook, and he hesitated and he stopped, which was good. That's what I wanted, since they are not allowed to do any sort of leg attacks. But I reminded him that as long as he's not, like, he could throw up an Arimiyashi, and as long as he's not attacking at the foot, he can use that position to sweep. So, like, for Gavin and Braden and Cooper, if you guys find yourselves in those positions, go ahead, use your leg entanglements. Just don't control the foot in a manner that causes like a twisting lock, and you can use it to sweep people, which we'll see plenty of examples of later. Yeah, here's my round with Braden. I'll try to find what I'm talking about when it happens.
Yeah, I went with Gavin, and that's when Gavin just whispered and told me. He was like, "Turn it up." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I definitely always appreciate when they ask us to turn it up.
Yeah, I'll beat a kid up. They give me permission.
Yeah, totally.
Let's see how Brandon handles Chris's guard.
There you go. I was waiting for that. I stayed in there a little bit longer than I would care to.
What are we looking at?
But Brandon and Chris. Chris clearly has inside position here, right? Like the entire time he had inside position. You don't really want to hang out in this position for a ton of time. If he gets his, if he's able to pull your hips over top of his hips, he has a ton of elevation opportunities here. and can start entering into legs and has all sorts of sweeps and things like that.
Yeah.
So what Brandon does there is what I would more or less want to see immediately done, addressing, down on the ankles, right? V grips on the ankles, and then pummeling around to either get to the inside position or start hitting in a Toriando, like an outside passing style.
Yeah. Joe with a little counter foot sweep here. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a Tsubami Geishi, I would say.
Brandon in on a Kimura, diving for the Kimura, but he's in kind of like a half guard, but Chris has such long legs. He's got his left leg like hooked around the back.
Let's hide you for a second.
Such an awkward angle. Now he's in on the head for a guillotine. Using that to try to pass. No luck, so now he's going in for a toe hold. Good. I mean, you got, there's nothing wrong with throwing everything at your opponent. Wear him down, have him guessing what are you going to attack, right? Because if he's thinking about what you're going to attack, then he's not thinking about attacking.
Hit a big sprawl from there, Brandon. Just to put the weight on your opponent, get his hands to the mat, and most importantly about that sprawl, your knees got to be off the mat, so you're putting everything on him. Guillotine to 100% back take can be a good follow-up. On the, I think you're talking about like right here where you hit that sprawl. I think.
Oh, yeah. The 100% grip, like the scoop under, and then over, almost like a crackdown, but from the, kind of like a crackdown. But from the front instead of the side.
Cow catcher kind of thing.
Cow catcher, yeah.
Let's see, the hobby. Jordan, rather nice exchange here. So looking right here, Jordan looking to
scissor sweep.
Yeah. Doesn't get Jordan all the way over. It looks like Jordan's trying to make do with that grip on the legs, but I don't think he has his own legs in a good enough position to control anything. Almost got to a good spot there. Nahabi was wise to backstep out of that. Chris passing Brandon's guard. Let's get that real quick. So, right where I am.
And for Jordan, I appreciate the frames that you have on Nahabi, but what I'm not seeing is hip movement. I want to like what I one of the biggest things that I struggled with while I was coming up was I would always be able to use my arms, but never my hips. And your hips and your legs are way stronger than your arms, right? And especially when they're combined together. So like what I would want to see from you is maybe with your right arm, I think you may have a cross shoulder post. I can't tell if that's your hand on this side of Nahabi's head or if that's his rash guard. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. And then you've got your left arm kind of framing against the hip. I would like to see you using that to turn towards him and get your butt away from him, right? What that's going to do is not only relieve quite a lot of pressure, but it's going to give you room to start inserting your knees in between you and him. And that's going to give you an even better frame, and it's going to give you the ability to regard. So I'd really like to see you coupling this framing, which you're doing extremely well with the upper body, to try and get your hips mobile so that you can start putting in stronger frames, which are going to be your legs and your hips, or your legs are going to be your frames, but getting your hips more engaged with the movement.
Yeah, my general approach for side control, because there are so many configurations of it that you can't say do this escape, do that escape. The general rule to follow there is use one frame to get a second frame. Use those two frames to get a third frame. Use those three to get a fourth. And that's with the intention of going back to guard, escaping to a guard, which you need to be able to do. When you develop more advanced techniques, like you can escape to submission, you could escape to sweeps. It's all well and good, but you always need to be able to escape to guard. So at white belt, that's definitely something to think about. So to Mike's point, you have two frames now. Use those two frames to get a third, which most likely is going to be this knee, the knee that's closest to the hip. And then once you get that one, then you use those three frames to get your fourth in and get your guard back.
Yep.
Chris is doing a good job pursuing the pin here against Brandon. Oh, but Brandon's ready for it.
Ooh.
But so is Chris.
Okay, yeah.
So let's see what happened there. So this is the vulnerability of a step over. When you go to step over, a lot of people think about trapping the leg that is stepping over. So myself included, like I normally, when people go to step over from side control or knee on belly into mount, I'm looking to trap that leg that they're leading with. But too often forgot about is the trailing leg, which is very, very light relative to the lead leg that is going over. That lead leg is driving across the body. It has weight behind it. And the trailing leg is often lighter. So we see Brandon take advantage of that here. He keeps Chris going in that direction, gets a scoop grip on Chris's leg, and is able to manipulate it and find his way out the back. Chris does a good job, though, of keeping his base and just squaring back up to him. Oh, I know this is against Braden, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I hit this little like snap down into a single leg, like an ankle pick, really low single. And I come up and I hit the thigh pry from the back. So I'm like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna treetop him or like anything like that. Let me just block his knee from the back. This is like a thigh pry, and then it keeps his leg from stepping forward. So I was able to get the finish off that. I really like those when I could find them.
I don't use the thigh pry much at all, actually.
No,
I should add that in. I
feel like I mean it's rare for me. I don't come across it too frequently. What the hell did Joe just do?
Hip toss.
Jesus. Tossing kids around. Looks like Cooper's no worse for the wear though.
Into a Dayashi. I see you're trying to get rid of the
the power half.
The power half shuck.
Yeah. I look like I'm just flailing helplessly, which I kind of am. I really needed to throw. After I did it, I was like, everything south of my shoulder is just like still, so I wasn't getting any real power behind it. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Made me look stupid.
haven't had very much luck with it. I either do it and then I feel like I've completely thrown my shoulder out of its socket, or I get immediately smacked down to the mat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there has to be a real commitment from the aggressor. Like,
Yep.
their weight has to be shifted up your back a bit, I think, for it to be successful.
Haley and Jordan, Nahabi and Jason, I think, right?
Looks like it.
Yep. And then Josh and Steven, you and Joe.
Here I'm pretty much just using Joe's leg position against him. He kind of tied me up. He sets up kind of an outside ashi here, which, Joe, if you watch this later, outside ashi, I'd like you to use that when you're finishing heel hooks, as opposed to prior to the heel exposure, and setting on the braking mechanics. You talk more to Peters about that too. What's going on, Caleb?
Hello, Caleb.
But then now, what happens here, Joe, is that with that grip on my ankle that I just kind of negate by pulling my heel back to my butt, your outside leg position now is a bad spot. It's a leg drag, right? It can be used against you. So that's why I would say I would look to set up an Achilles grip to keep my ankle from pulling back towards my hips if you're gonna be in this outside ashi position without the heel exposure. And then then it's your job to try to get me off balance, which that's a whole nother thing in and of itself. Ooh, that's a big question. Let me get through this real quick. But then now I'm using that to kind of like pin him in this like leg ride position until I can either work my way up to mount, work my way around the back, whatever the case is. So why do I think Nogi is so popular in the U.S.? In Brazil, we have 1 to 3 Nogi classes a week, tops. So I don't know if I could say that it's only in the U.S. that it's popular. It seems like it's really, thank you, Caleb. It seems like it's really taken off as a sport in general. If you look at the rise of like ADCC popularity. Toriando, what's going on?
Toriando, what's happening? Thanks, Jordan.
Oh man, the sound effect just popped up. My subscription.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Was it the Bernardo?
Yeah, I put Bernardo Faria from BJJ Fanatics. He goes huge honor for me. Anytime you guys sub, that should play. I'll have to turn it up. In any case, let me pause this before I talk through all the good stuff. I think Nogi in general is just rising in popularity throughout the world, not just in the USA. Brazil, maybe not. Brazil may like hold on to the tradition of gi jiu-jitsu, and rightfully so. But I can tell you just from my own point of view, I think Nogi is a bit more exciting pace-wise. You obviously can stall your way through it, but the pacing of Nogi is very similar to wrestling, which is fast-paced, but those things only last 6 minutes, like 6 minutes at the most. So you're gonna get higher-paced matches. I think the gi poses complexity that average viewers or just curious viewers, they don't know what's going on, and it can slow the pace of the match down. So it's easy to get kind of bored if you don't love the sport like we all do. And then of course, you know, you got budding personalities behind it that are gonna draw eyes to it. That's, I don't know, a quick off the top of my head take on why it's growing in popularity.
Yeah, I think here, I mean, we've got a lot of at least it's almost like it's a growing number of wrestlers that have kind of realized that after high school, in college, there's no wrestling anymore, right? Like it's a very few and far between thing to do that. And so we're getting a lot more wrestlers that are gravitating into the jiu-jitsu scene. And you know, so that's going to be more so for the no-gi side of things. When you get into the gi, obviously you've got a lot of grips that stifle some of the scrambling that happens from standing. And so that can kind of be a deterrent. So people are going towards the no-gi side. It gives the scrambles a little bit of excitement there, and again, the draw in for the wrestlers that don't really have anywhere to go after school.
Yeah. Also, thank you for the good question, SQC.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we got you, Toriando. Absolutely.
What happened with Joe here? Oh, just a triangle. Okay. Steven coming up on a headlock here from like all the way at the bottom. Nice sweep. But SQC, I will say that Nicholas Marigali is very exciting to me to watch. And like like, you know, there are plenty of exciting gi grapplers that like I'll go back and watch matches from, you know, Hodger and like Buchecha and you know, those are, again, just off the top of my head, but like recent modern gi grapplers like Marigali, Mika Galvao, even though he's gotten himself in a little bit of trouble, and I mean the Rotolos do some gi stuff too, didn't they have some gi matches like in the IBJJF within the last
not too
year?
long ago? A year or two ago, and they wound up facing off in the finals with each other. I want to say that was either last year or the year before.
And that new guy, or he's not new, but like he's really on the scene now. Flow Grappling is pumping out a lot of stuff. Tynan Dalpra, I think is how you pronounce his name. Like these are all really exciting guys. Even Mikey, I love watching Mikey Musumeci in the gi too. It's just it's easy to name a few of those guys, but it's even easier to say, oh, gi is boring and it's slow and this and that, because there are a lot of matches like that. You guys need to pen DC against the DC for guys and rolls. I mean, I would take any sort of proper setup that like the UFC guys have. That would be cool if we had like, if I could arrange our camera so that it looks like we're the UFC crew.
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be insane. So Jason hit a really nice kipping escape on Nahabi maybe 30 seconds ago, not even. So yeah, Nahabi comes in, gets into a mount. Immediately Jason's framing, knows it's coming. Gives a nice bridge, knees to the butt, kips off to the side, right? Like there's a few different types of kipping. Jason opts to go to the side, which is the easiest way to get the kip to work, by putting yourself over to one hip and then getting your partner committed to that side and then scooting out from there. You can also do it to where you're basically sending them straight up, like a straight on kip, and then you can also do a no-handed kip. That's gonna be like Danaher Death Squad. They like to do that as well. But again, really good use of the kipping escape. Nahabi was ready for it though and dismounted, right? That's Some people ask, at least ask me, like, how do you deal with the kipping escape? And it's exactly that. Like, knowing when to dismount, knowing when you've lost the mount is just as important as maintaining the mount in some regards.
Yeah, and being able to get the best finishing position you can out of it, which is going to be somewhere, less than a mount.
Yeah, I don't know what they use or what. Yeah, maybe it's whether they use something Apple or if they have something specific for them. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
DC, Cormier.
Oh no. I mean, I think Toriando is saying if basically like a green screen kind of thing that we could use to mimic the UFC setup.
Gotcha.
I'm sure I could probably screen capture something and work with it.
And we could do the whole
yeah, we'll make memes of ourselves.
Yeah.
Freaking out about when someone hits a double leg in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So Haley's trying really hard to get her hooks in here. She's gonna have to flip Josh over. I wonder if she knows a power half Nelson. Here,
looks like she's trying to set it up with her arm configuration.
Yeah.
But now she's just trying to pull him over.
And look, I mean, she's very light compared to the rest of us, so it's gonna be hard to flip over a lot of us. I'm not calling you guys fat, but you're fat.
Get out there if you can.
Only 4 weeks. Yeah, dude, what's your problem, man? Get back on the mats.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
okay. That's a legitimate excuse. Yeah. I'll accept that.
Yeah. Are you? I hope you're not laid off for too long. That's
yeah.
It always sucks, man. Damn, a dislocated shoulder.
I had that happen when I was a kid, but I wasn't training like this, so it didn't really affect me too much. Is there like a lot of swelling and stuff? Like,
and does it pop out pretty easily?
Yeah.
Now?
And that I was gonna say, like, from all the swelling, would it like dislocate easier right now? Probably, I would assume. I don't know.
Look at Steven and Josh here. So Josh starts to go for the omoplata that we went over in class. But Steven's quick on it. Josh doesn't get his legs shifted the right way in time. Steven's a little slippery with it. So remember, Josh, you want your knees pointing in this direction and your feet pointing the opposite way. And there's a bit of a switch that has to happen there. And that's, I think, as you were doing that, that's where Steven probably found the space to extract. X guard
pushes you back down.
Just popped out and back in. Eek. Got a scan, they said.
Well, that's good news. That's the best news you could ask for.
Yeah. He just wasn't listening, Cole.
I know. That's why you gotta coach him. You gotta be there. You gotta be there for him.
Yeah, just take 6 weeks off. It's like, what am I supposed to do for 6 weeks? I got a buddy dealing with a broken forearm right now who just told me he's probably going to be out until like January because he's got to wear a cast all summer and then he's got to do like three months of PT, he said. And I was like, yeah, once your bones fuse, just go back. I'm not a doctor, but just go train. I just hope he has like training partners who won't treat him the way our training partners treat us. There you go. At least it works out. I am not a doctor. I am not your doctor. I just put thumbs back in place, and I'm not afraid to drain an ear. And toes. Yeah, I'll put your toe back in place. Did you ever have to deal with golfer's elbow? As like an actual
I'm dealing
golfer?
with it now.
Oh, okay.
No, believe it or not when I golfed, but lifting, bench pressing, definitely put me.
Okay, dude, we get it. You work out. God.
Not a lot.
I've seen your bench form. It's questionable.
It is questionable. That's why I have golfer's elbow.
So Coop, man, everybody was on their omoplata tonight, or at least trying it. And I'm not letting any of you get it on me. But here he switches it up. And now he's kind of in the same predicament. He's got to get his knees pointing towards me and his feet pointing in the opposite direction in order to set on the pressure of the omoplata. But I don't feel like hanging out there. So I just concede mount. Talking about the Good Doctor? I think. I don't know. I don't watch TV. There he goes with the armbar. Let's see that one more time. So he sets it up elbow deep. Breaks my grip, takes it back. He's got his legs in a good position. So he earned it. Yes, Haley, stack Luke on his neck and then crunch down on him, like jump onto him and try to crunch his vertebrae together. Not as an effective
shoulder.
Yeah, not as an effective technique, just to hurt him. And then was this Steven and Gavin?
Mm-hmm.
See, I know the boys still have another weekend, another free weekend before the competition, but all in all, after the rounds this past Monday, I'd say they're feeling pretty ready.
I was happy with them, yeah, for sure.
And Josh, we're gonna watch Josh.
Oh yeah,
take my soul here in a little bit.
He's always comp ready.
Yeah, whatever. How old is he? I can't tell by his hairline, but...
Like 17.
Yeah, he's young. He's got the hairline of a 45-year-old.
Yeah, easily.
Dude, for real. I mean, like, everybody was on it that night. We went over that technique in class.
I was going to say.
It was fresh in everybody's mind. And I love it. Like, I like to see them work that. I'd really, really like to see, they would get bonus points for me if they use the omoplata and then transition into the legs.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like that entry. So I feel like most people can just kind of limp arm out of the omoplata, or they sit you back up with their posture. They don't even necessarily have to hit that roll, but they can posture up and make it very difficult for you to get the finish, which is probably why you don't see too many omoplatas in like, you know, high level competition. They show up, but they're normally transitional, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then Coop does the rest of what we did at class. So first he's looking for the omoplata, but I'm not letting him get my posture broken down the way he wants. So he switches.
He recognizes that he messed up, like so he switched both legs over to the wrong side.
Yeah.
And immediately changes. That's nice.
Yeah, and that's for our non-student viewers, we were going over the omoplata and then the transition to, I believe we did an armbar first, and then the relationship from the armbar to the triangle. So the three of those submissions combined, we just looked at those in class. So now I think here he's attacking the triangle, a very deep triangle, but he may actually be attacking my arm too. I can't remember. And again, bonus points, which are worth so much if he did both at the same time.
I was going to say that, Gavin did the exact same thing. That's really funny.
Let's see it. Right here. Then his hips are just way too deep underneath to be able to sit out with that. So now he goes to a trap triangle position, looking to get the arm across. And Gavin, remember, you can like hip up. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see.
Yep.
All right, he remembers. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, pinball. I didn't even see that. Hell yeah. Still a minute left. Meanwhile, Luke putting
Texas
putting
Cloverleaf on Haley. Got that Kimura on Cooper. You're using it for back take. It's like the power of the Kimura trap is like, you know, explained right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had the Kimura. You're threatening to, you know, put stress on the shoulder. You kind of like, all right, give me a reaction. What are you gonna do, right? If I'll put your arm down if you don't give me any other reaction. You're kind of prepared to use that to step over and maybe go into a mount position, but you're basically just trying to free your leg one way or the other, right? And then from here, it's all up to Cooper, right? He has to make a decision. He's either going to try and turn into you or away from you. So he chooses to kind of turn away from you. And when he does that, he exposes his back. And now you can start looking at a full back take and strangling a child. You know,
That's right.
Yeah,
He's a
that's how we
teenager.
do it.
He's a teenager.
All right, he's a child for me.
Teenagers deserve to get strangled every once in a while.
It really is. It's like magic. I don't I don't know of any. I've been doing it for years now, and it's still just kind of like, man, it's
The
magical.
Kimura,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, for a simple, 2-on-1 grip on an arm, it opens up a tremendous amount of stuff from so many different angles. So Nahabi and I have
This is a
really,
barn burner.
we have
Yeah.
a fun armbar exchange. Do I do the straight leg choke? Oh, in the Kimura trap. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like a scissor. Call it the James Bond. Yeah. So if I'm thinking the same thing you are, from that Kimura trap where you're laying behind the guy, setting up the scissor choke from like this
About
position.
there. Yep.
Yeah. So Luke, our coach, he loves to do that. He's got some thick old thighs on him. So he loves to do that one. My preference for that setup is I don't prioritize the leg scissor. I prioritize the side triangle. So if I'm set up for this, I'll use Cooper as an example here. So this leg, I try to scoop underneath, like over the body and underneath the far arm and lock up a triangle that way. As a priority. But if I can't, like let's say he's just not letting it happen, I'll use the leg scissor, threaten that, and then they often use this free hand to try to break open that leg scissor, and then I scoop that arm with my leg and set up the side triangle that I really wanted. That's my own approach to it. I can't say I have too much success with the leg scissor personally, which is why I gravitate to the side triangle. But you absolutely will see that on this stream at some point. Yeah, this guy loves to do it. Steven working the thread of a guillotine to get around Chris's guard. There he goes. Barely gets the knee in. One of our coaches nearly hit it in the UFC.
Oh wow.
Who's your coach, if you don't mind blowing up his spot? It'd be cool footage to see in MMA.
Yeah, right.
That's a bummer. It's too bad they don't start you in the same position the round ended in. I know Rogan's been in he's been an advocate for that since the beginning. So this is my fun
Yeah, that was a nice
encounter.
Hitchhiker.
And dude, this happened. So we're watching this on, 1 1/4 speed. Let me put it to regular speed. and it still felt like lightning fast when it happened.
Mm.
I went back and watched the footage, and it's like so slow. But like everything about this, he had me pretty good through that entire transition on the armbar. Right here, I would say I was in the most trouble, where he really could have just like picked this leg up and over and put some significant downward pressure on my elbow while not letting my arm get to the mat. But fortunately, he comes down, falls to the mat. I roll over to just a standard armbar position, but I'm trying really, really hard to disrupt his ability to control the rotation of my wrist. So as soon as I get to here, my last ditch effort is to hit the turning escape, which I think I was only able to do because he didn't really have the strongest bite over my head with his left leg. So I've got this huge gap here that I could turn my head into. Remember that the turning escape isn't, it's the best way to think about it is like people think too much about turning, like, 180 degrees on their back or something like that. Really, the purpose of the turning escape is to get your head from this side of your opponent's body to the far side, and you do that by going under the legs. So if you prioritize the way you think about that, at least that was a big helpful thing for me. I was always scared to do turning escapes. I thought they didn't work. I was a white belt, so of course I was wrong. But once I realized that's the path, you find it much safer, easier thing to do. And then
there's also, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say to Pinball's point, yeah. So as soon as you get out of a hitchhiker, if they hold on to your hand, they're essentially giving you half of a cradle.
Leg drag.
So like, sure, a leg drag position, like, but as you come up around the side, which is pretty easy to do because their legs are on the same side of your body, you're basically set up into a cradle at that point, to where you can kind of take a breather, tell your partner, good job, you almost got me, you're never going to get me, now I'm going to kill you, which is what I did here. And then we end up taking this onward. I get to like a rear triangle position and get the tap there. If he inserts that right foot right after you flipped, he can go to the back. Let's see. Talking here, because not there. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're talking about right around here. If he can turn the corner, then my back is exposed. Yeah, what's going to slow him down there is my grip on the hip that I have from my arm staying in place. That's that's going to be the difficult thing. And for what it's worth, Pinball, I don't think I've ever gotten that either. I don't think I've ever taken the back off somebody hit a turning escape on me. So maybe I'm not fast enough either. But they do have an ability to slow you down a bit. I feel like they would have to get their hips, like kind of scoot their hips out to the side. And in this case, my right arm could inhibit that. It might not stop it completely, but it could slow it down. Hadn't mentioned this in a while. This jam speaks to me. I'm gonna put you in timeout, Jordan. Don't make me do you like I did to Josh. And then Cathal Pendred. I think I pronounced that right. I'll have to write that down, look that up, see if I can find some of his fights. How about time in? Whatever, dude. Mike, what were you saying this whole time?
He had you in a quarter juji, right? Which, the right leg is tucked underneath your body, so you have no problems getting your hips away. One thing, there are a couple of different styles of armbar that prohibit the use of the turning escape. One of them is just the simple straight juji, which is the right leg across the body, back heeling, and then the left leg obviously as a crossface. The other is the 3/4 juji, which is going to be where the right leg is now over top of the left leg, and on the same side as the left side of the neck.
It's like the ankles, right here. Both ankles are north of the shoulder line.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And those two configurations, it becomes more difficult to do the turning escape just in general. But as you start back healing with a full standard armbar Juji Katame, um, it becomes easier for you to get stacked. So that's kind of like the dilemma that you pose to yourself when you're setting these arm bars up.
Yeah. Oh, Steven with the TP strangle.
PP. Heck yeah.
Oh, Chris, let's see if Chris falls for it. If he says not today. He's got his arm in. Looks like he might be giving himself enough space. There it is. Switches up to do you switch up to a normal triangle here, Steven? Like, did you recollect the arm?
No, he went to the Kimura.
But is the arm in there?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't tell. Steven, chime in, buddy. Let's see if we can, because this TP setup, this looks like the Blas's style of finish. Yeah, but is the arm in? I can't see from. I feel like the arm is in there. And if the arm is in, like, look at the Kimura.
Yeah, because he doesn't move his legs. His arm has to be, right?
Yeah, it's like all in front of the legs.
Yeah.
Which makes that a really awful Kimura.
Yeah, it does.
Where it puts his shoulder. So yeah, then with Nahabi here, stepped over into a mounted triangle position. And as he tried to roll out, I just had to keep a hold of his arm and his head, keep his head elevated off the mat, and then start to circle around to the rear triangle.
I like that transition. Yeah.
Then he was like, I'm not getting out of that. Yeah, it looked like the arm was in, which would also explain why Chris tapped pretty quickly on that, because that's a tough Kimura to deal with. Is Caleb complaining here about Luke going over his face? What happened? Let's see how Luke strangles him.
Oh, it's
that's right over the jaw there. See if we can find the setup. He sets it in. Yeah, good old mandible strangle. And then look at Caleb. He's like, my teeth.
I wear a mouth guard. Your camera just went out of focus.
Oh, hello. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, dude, wear a mouth guard. You'll be fine. So I didn't feel like dealing with Nahabi's guard at this point. I just lazily sat back. That's what I told you. Said people who care about their yeah. I have felt my jaw crack under that pressure. And I'm talking about my mandible, like the actual bone, like people squeezing on it. It's a serious one. And I do care about my teeth, so I tap early on those. We'll see Josh crank on one later on my face. It's funny because like this roll with Nahabi,
I heard the same, Steven.
Is so different. Anything, yeah, dude. This roll with Nahabi is very different in the gi. He's, he has a very, very good gi game where he uses the grips extremely well, and everything you're seeing here, these sweeps and these like the way he's trying to pass around me, he can't grip my legs. So he's relying more on movement, but I can easily sneak my knees back in. I can flip him, all that sort of stuff. It looks very different when he and I roll in the gi, and we don't go over that footage here because then I don't look as good. Yeah, dude, I can't give him enough credit. And the last time we rolled in the gi, he had my number.
Yeah, he's definitely fun rolling the gi. He's a fun rolling no gi too.
Yeah, for sure. I probably don't use gripping enough just because I don't want my hands to hurt in the morning. So I tend to, and I love no-gi, so I think I tend to default to more of a no-gi game for better, for worse. Um, well, definitely for worse, most times, but
For worse than the gi, for better than
yeah, yeah. Chris had a chance to throw a triangle up there on Steven. So Luke and Caleb. Oh. There we go,
That was
Caleb.
nice. Super nice. Hell yeah.
God,
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
We got to clean up your back game. I want to see you rip his head off. Clean off. So yeah, this is really, really great. I generally just love the refusal to stay down. Like this is great, especially in a position where Luke is dominant. Like Luke is very, very good from top half guard. So you get him down the body. He gets his leg free, so you've initiated a pretty serious scramble here. But now this is a good, makings of like a technical lift. You're pushing Luke, new Luke 2.0, the lighter version. Get him moving a little bit, and this grip he has on your leg probably isn't doing him any favors. Like his face is wide open right now. I would love to see you. Well, let's let the footage play. Yeah, so I want to see this grip set in and immediately become a closed grip. I want hand-to-hand gable grip, closed loop around Luke's face, and trying to force Luke to look this way with your cross face. Luke knows he's in trouble right here with that grip, right? That's why he immediately goes up to attack. Now, because that grip slipped off, he's immediately probably doesn't care anymore. But you can control him extremely well with that grip, just like he did to you.
You go straight into a triangle, and then into the armbar.
And into a 3/4 armbar, too.
Yep.
So pull this heel back into this heel, and then
they need to be kind of like very tight together.
Yeah, this is too much space. I want you back heeling with both legs in this position. Then you can worry about your grip break.
Yep.
And you're not going to break that grip at the elbows. You're going to break it at the wrists. Oh, and he smothers him. Look at that. Look at that. Ah. Love it. Yeah, you still have room here. Like I fight at the hands. I don't fight anywhere else to break that grip. And as much as I love seeing you do that to him, just smother him with your calves. You're fine. You don't need to use your hand. Use your hands to break the grip. Oh, time. Man, that was
what a way to finish it.
Nice finish on the round, Caleb. That was great. Let's see. We caught off guard by the choke there. I see why he went for it.
Yeah,
before the seatbelt.
You're gauging the reaction, right? The neck's open, go for it, right? And it's normally enough time to stifle your opponent, and you can worry about your hooks.
Yeah.
In a second, right?
Yeah, that's I think an instinct that's really, really good to build when you're developing your back game is, develop your hand fighting strategy, develop your lower body connection, your upper body connection, but at all times be looking, is their neck open?
Mm-hmm.
If yes, abandon everything and sink that choke in while you have the chance, while you can skip the hand fight and all that stuff. I love to see that, and Luke is a big proponent of that too. He immediately sets up the choke whenever he sees the opportunity. Yeah, I mean, of course, you need to get a better back game, man. You're a blue belt, and you're showing signs of a burgeoning back attack game right there. Like that was great. It's just stuff to sharpen up now. So that was a killer round. That was probably one of the best rounds I've ever seen you have with Luke.
Yep.
And now Chris in the last 10 seconds looking to play the Muchoplata game as well. maybe even a go-go. But Steven cutting the angle. Yeah, now it's done. All right, so Josh wanted a competition round, or at least that's how he treated me. Jason wants to stop watching to see if I'll break his grip. You absolutely can. There's nothing special. I mean, you know, Luke has a strong grip for sure. Luke's a strong guy, but he's got 10 fingers like everybody else, and you just have to have good grip breaking strategies to work with. So the worst part of these rounds with really any of you lower belts is when Luke or Mike starts coaching, Cole now, you just level up a belt or two, and when you start listening to them, and I hate it.
A little hasty on the step over for mount. But giving you some pressure nonetheless. Very nice. Patiently waiting you out on the mount. That was really good.
Jason doing a good job here, slowly working his way around. But Chris turtles up. Just want to go back and look at this. So I really like what Jason's doing here. Really using his weight, some pretty direct head control to maneuver his way around Chris. As he's going to north-south, let's see, I think, yeah, he kind of...
Going for the Kimura.
So it looks like he's going for that like dorsal Kimura setup, but I think he misses here with his right arm. He doesn't get it directly into Chris's right hip, and that allows Chris to keep turning towards him past this side position and into the turtle. So if he could slow that down and use a bit more chest to chest pressure in this north-south transition, right? See, he's giving him some space here. His chest is coming up a little bit, and that's letting Chris turn up. Whereas if you look at, you know, footage of you doing north-south on me, where you're just completely flattening me out as you make your way around, I have to create the room to turn my shoulders up. I don't, you know, you're not giving it to me. So Jason, if you can be a little bit more controlling in that chest to chest contact, I think you would have gotten this position where you wanted it. So yeah, now Josh starts to take my back. Doing a really good job patiently stalking his way around. And now it's into a nasty hand fight with just forearms across my face, one after another.
Yep.
He's not really playing the straitjacket game. He's just playing full assault on my face with his forearms. And that's where he gets it. So you can see, gets a little rotational finish into it here. Full mandible strangle, definitely set in, and gets it.
Yeah, Toriando, have a good night, man.
Hey, man, thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for all the comments
thank you.
and stuff. I hope you heal up real soon, and you can get your ass
back out on the mats,
man.
Damn right.
We'll talk to you soon, bud. Kill this 2 round on Saturday, starting back control or an armbar. Ooh, challenge thrown out. No, Caleb, to James's point, I actually think that would be really solid for you to start working into your training.
I agree.
So
that was not bad. I mean, even though it was a pretty far out shot, I just would have. I know I'm talking about Josh.
Yeah.
If that's obvious, but he went in, dove down on the leg, and Josh, and I know you're probably exhausted, and you kind of flattened out, like out on your belly here. But you really need to get back up to your knees and start cutting the angle. You had a really good elbow grip. You go like elbow to knee and start cutting around the side I don't care whether you're going for a sweep single, whether you're going to transition into a double leg. Like, you've got a ton of options, but none of those options exist if you can't continue to cut around that side.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Josh, that should be something you work just in isolation. Like, we can work on that shooting and then getting to your angle just to make it automatic. And then, yeah, this was a hand block go behind. I'm blocking his tricep with my left arm to make it around, sneak my my near side hook into my right leg, give him a little taste of his own medicine.
Deep strangle there. Yep.
Yeah, he had a good hand fight here. I had to give him some trouble.
You opted for the double overs grips too.
Yeah, and I started losing my position because I don't have that underhook. I'm really fighting to get my head on the right side here.
Yep.
Since I'm using my left hand to finish the strangle. So you could see, well, I guess it's hard to see from here, but just knowing this roll, I was very concerned about his hips slipping out of this. And once they did, even with this strangle, I maybe still been able to finish it, but it would have become that much more difficult. So I really tried to put the squeeze on at this point, so I didn't lose that body position. Sorry, I'm gonna give Jason and Chris their credit here too. So Jason gets back from that turtled up position against Chris, finds his way to what he really wanted.
Back to that spot. Yep.
Dorsal on the opposite side from what he was initially going for. But
and we talked about that leg scissor before. I know it was Toriando, but that's kind of what Jason's threatening here, is that if he doesn't go, and kind of give up the arm, Jason's basically going to hang on to that arm and turn over to his right, fall to that hip, and then start squeezing with his thighs and trying to get Chris's face to look away. That's actually one of the key things that Luke has taught me about that leg scissor is, one of the kind of like the north-south joke. Yeah, you need to get their chin looking down towards your feet, not in towards your butt.
Yeah, and I really, really like the finish here with this Kimura. You can tell he gets everything set up. It looks like he's even pushing down a little bit, opposite the way he wants to take the hand. Just to, man, it's a strange trick. It sounds like a clickbait title, like this one weird trick, but like you take an arm in the direction opposite you want to actually take it, it becomes very easy to rip it in the true direction you want. So he's kind of loading it up, and then right here, some people may argue with me about this, but I really, really like this. He's got the elbow in the chest, and he's not ripping the hand all the way up here, right? He's not taking this huge clearance over the back. He gets the elbow to the chest, and he takes it over just enough to get it to the back. That's all you need. You don't need to like lurch your body up or anything like that could create space. He gets the knuckles behind the back, and Chris knows he's done at that point.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, yeah, some advocate to bring the arm up as high as they can, but if you think about it,
where it's like out here,
Yeah, all that's doing is it's allowing Chris to straighten his arm out.
Yeah.
It's almost promoting it in terms of like, that's where I'll lose this position, is if somebody is going to absolutely go devil may care, right arm straight to the ceiling, right hand straight to the ceiling. You don't have an arm bar from here, right? You would have to do a quick transition around the back in order to get back to the arm bar. You can very well lose your positioning here.
Yeah, and he keeps a nice acute angle between the forearm and the bicep.
Yep.
It's exactly what you want. That was great, Jason. I wish I could see you do that on Steven later. I'm bummed I don't have that footage. It's going heavy snaps on
James.
Josh.
Does James have that footage?
Oh yeah, maybe. James, do you have at the very, very end of the night? Actually, he may have left already. Steven and Jason had a roll. Jason apparently got him.
Yeah, because James isn't there right now.
Yeah.
Actually.
So that's the...
Unless he's off to the side.
Saw that. Nope.
Ah, okay.
So Josh and I are feeling it at this point. We still got about 2 minutes left.
Nice snap. Just saw that your head was below his armpit. Boom. Straight in.
Yeah. I think Luke was
It's
calling for that.
undocumented. It's never existed.
Jason back to a similar position.
I'm really gonna hate it if he gets good at this.
If what?
I said I'm really gonna hate it if he gets good at this.
What, jiu-jitsu in general or strangling from the back?
Oh, I mean, Jason with this.
Oh yeah.
Kimura.
Yeah, that'll be a dangerous move to have to handle from him.
Oof.
So Josh is in mount, and you know, Josh, I know you're tired here. I could kind of sense it. And Luke made this comment at the end of the round, not to get sloppy and give up points at the very end.
Oh, that was still a nice snap.
Yeah.
Way to stay on top. Jeez, that was good.
So he good snap down, and then I hit.
Looked like you tried to pop him down. You were trying to initiate it.
I tried to sit
and he
out.
just sent. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The initial snap, yeah.
Right.
Get up here.
There.
Yeah, and then I lower my level, and he takes advantage, snaps me down. I try to hit a quick sit out, because I don't want to deal with that. And then I reshoot.
He's right on that sprawl.
Yeah.
I could feel that sprawl.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a good takedown on him. Like, he's gonna be my measuring stick for my shots, my singles and doubles. But Josh, right here, I mean, there are 5 seconds left. This is when you need to stay vigilant. I don't give a shit how tired you are, especially if you're practicing real comp rounds in the training room. I've got half guard. I've got the underhook. I get my knee position. I come up for an easy sweep, easy pass. Can't let that happen. So tighten that shit up before the competition. Just with, you know, basically just being aggressive until the ref says to stop. You easily had 5 more seconds of smash in you. I know you did. So we got Steven and Luke. I think I'll jump on here with somebody at some point. Oh, I think Chris and I get around. Oh yeah, after I refused Caleb because I was half alive. Luke is such a dangerous one to throw the legs up high on. Like, pretty much going to happen every time. And Steven, your best bet from there may just... I can't see? Okay, I was going to say it would be to probably turtle up, which it looks like you did. Killing Jason over here. trying to set up my cross ashi. What did Jason just do? Looks like Jason got caught in the makikomi.
Yep. Yep.
But survives to mount.
Made his way back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb, I think maybe you've gotten a little spoiled with this. I want to see you keep rolling, man. No pause in there. Even if you come up into his guard, I want you to win that hip height battle. Don't get lazy on that. That's your sweep, man. It works super well for you. Just work it all the way until it's finished. Looks like Steven's trying to work the thread of a submission to get that leg free. Worried about Luke playing deep half, so he's cross facing him.
Trying Luke's pass there. And then Luke gives him a nice shove off.
So I couldn't tell if Chris was playing rubber guard against me or not. I felt
I like the inverted hands, the marionette style.
That's exactly what I was like. Let me just try to slink out of this. But then he started getting too up on him, like, oh, I'm in trouble for like a dead orchard position. So
yeah, on him, he definitely has the length for that. Yeah.
So I pushed my shoulders back through. I just decided to go back to my standing guard attempts. So Jason doing the far reach again and getting the mount again, Caleb. Got to start shutting that down. But you didn't let him get the mount, so that's good. In fact, what did you do? Did you just like stiff arm his hips away, I think? Almost like a kipping style escape, but just created enough space. Luke again with that heavy pass.
Yep.
From the scoop grip on the leg. And then cracking him back down. Trying to, at least.
I'm trying to. Steven's staying in turtle.
So we're seeing Caleb try to stand again here, like he did with Luke. So as you do that, Caleb, and this is just going to take practice, I want to see your hips kind of thrusting forward as you turn 180 degrees to face your opponent. You'll see me doing it when people get behind me and they're trying to like get a grip around my waist. I'm kind of like walking forward with my waist, putting weight backwards through my shoulders, leaning onto my opponent. There's vulnerability there. Don't get me wrong, but I find it easy to kind of spin to a position where I'm facing my opponent when I do that. We got you and Ryan just off camera here.
Yep.
Nice counter, Caleb. So I think Jason gets a little sleepy here. Gets caught in a tripod sweep. And then doesn't get... Like he doesn't have anything going across your body to try to get you down. If that makes sense. And you just take full control of his waist, smash his legs. That was a good counter. Then you look at the clock. You just sit there, don't you? Trying to play high and have, hold on. go back real quick. Trying not to play high and heavy amount, but also yes, just sit there. Yeah, well, we talked about that on Tuesday. We'll see how your game changes up from that position, or how it grows from that position. Let's say. All right, great stuff tonight, guys. Really entertaining rounds.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are lurking in the chat, we love it if you threw us a follow, and if you guys like what you're seeing, please subscribe. You can use your Twitch Prime to help support the stream. Or any one of the tiered subs. Oh yeah, maybe some of you haven't seen the awesome emote I made of Mike's bloody face. But yeah, usable by all subscribers. Yeah, you're very welcome, guys. Yeah, keep getting injured and letting me take pictures of it, and I'll keep making fun emotes of it.
That's a promise.
Yeah. Let's see. 2 weeks out from, or about a week and a half out from the competition. So hope everybody's feeling good about that, getting ready. If you guys aren't competing but you want to support, it's in Hickory, so not too far from here. Whoever would have bloodied Mike's face, I don't know. He's definitely not in the chat right now, but
yeah.
Actually, I don't know if Joe has seen the emote yet. He's been on vacation, so in any case, Joe has his own emoji, so he had to get another friend there with him. But yeah, any case, yeah, support us if you can here. Subscribe over on YouTube as well. And what else? We got Close Guard wrapping up this week, so tomorrow and Saturday, and then we'll be moving on to Open Guard. So in any case, get back to class, and before you do, go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky. And we will see you guys there.
Later.
Take it easy.